Okay, honors. Okay, we talked about these guys. Let's see, the distance from A to B. Okay, remember that A to B is a distance, a diagonal, but we can't count it. But what we can do is make a right triangle. Oops, went too far. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes. This is 6 boxes. So I'm going to use pi r squared, or sorry, not pi r squared. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 8 squared plus 6 squared equals the diagonal squared, because this is a right triangle. So this is 64 plus 36 equals c squared. 100 equals c squared. Take the square root to get rid of the squared, and the distance is 10. Okay, people seem to have a hard time with midpoints. Okay, let's see. The middle point between A and B is probably somewhere in there, but let's be exact. On the x-axis, A is there and B is there, so we just have to find the middle of the x's. Let's see, this x is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 6, so this point is negative 6 something. This point is positive 2 something. Okay, so we have to find the middle between negative 6 and 2. To do that, we just add them together, negative 6 plus 2, and we cut them in half. So that's negative 6 and positive 2 is negative 4, cut them in half. The x middle is at negative 2, which, yeah, it looks like it is. All right, what about up and down, the y's? The y's, this one's at 4, so this is negative 6, 4, and this one is 2, negative 2. So we got to find the middle of the up and down, and that will tell us where it is, where this middle point is at up and down. So we're looking for the middle between the y's, which is 4 plus negative 2, or 4 minus 2, cut in half. 4 and negative 2 is 2. We cut it in half, and the middle is at 1. And yeah, this one, you can tell, yeah, the middle is at 1, and the middle is at negative 2. So the middle is at negative 2 on the x's and 1 on the y's. That's where the midpoint is. So you're just finding the middle sideways and the middle up and down between 2 points. So it's a negative 2, 1. All right, for the next one, let's see. We're doing B and C. Okay, B and C is here and here. Let's find that. This is 4 boxes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. I'm going to do 7 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. 49 plus 36 equals c squared. What is that? 85 equals c squared. Is that right? 49 plus 16. Why did I say 36? That's not right. 49 plus 16. 49 plus 16 equals 65. 65. All right, equals c squared. We take the square root, take the square root. Square root of 65 is 8.06. This rounds up to 8.1. So that's 8.1. All right, midpoint for BC. I just got to know what is these points. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. So this is at negative 5, negative 6. This is at positive 1, 2, negative 2. Okay, let's find the middle of the x's. So the middle of negative 5 and 2. So we'll add them together, negative 5 and positive 2, and cut them in half. This is negative 3 halves equals negative 1.5. That's where the middle of the x's is. Where are the middle of the y's? Between negative 6 and negative 2. Negative 6 plus negative 2 is just minus 2. Negative 6 and negative 2 is divided by 2. Negative 8 divided by 2. The middle up and down is at negative 4. So the middle is at negative 1.5, negative 4. You're just adding the x's together and cutting them in half, and adding the y's together and cutting them in half. All right, distance between A's and C. Let's see. A and C. To make a triangle, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down, 1 over. Okay, 10 and 1. Okay, so it's going to be 10 squared plus 1 squared equals c squared. 100 plus 1 equals c squared. Take the square root. C equals the square root of 101. I do it in my calculator. 101 square root 10.04. So it just rounds to the nearest one is just still 10.0. So it's not actually 10, but it rounds to 10.0. All right, where's the midpoint? The midpoint is halfway between, what were these points again? This is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 6, positive 4, and negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 6. Okay, so we're finding the negative 6 and negative 5. Cut them in half, that's negative 11. Divided by 2 is negative 5.5. And that makes sense that negative 5.5 is in between negative 5 and negative 6. And then what's in between 4 and negative 6? Cut them in half. It's a negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So the middle is at negative 5.5 comma negative 1. And if we put that a dot, negative 5.5, negative 1 is right there. And that looks like it's dead in the middle of that line. All right, perfect. Next one, let's see, 1 and 3. There's the vertices. They're on the opposite side of the vertices, so they're vertical angles. I'll just put angles instead of writing the word. 6 and 8. 6 and 8 make a straight line together. Those are supplementary angles. Supplements get you all the way to where you need to go. Supplementary angles. All right, so they add up to 180. 5 and 4 are both on the inside of the train track. So if here's the train tracks, they're both on the inside. One's a lefty, or one's a righty, one's a lefty. So they're alternating interior angles. Number 8 and number 2, they're both on the outside, so they're exterior. Eight's a lefty, 2's a righty, so they're alternating exterior angles. Let's see, 3 and 7. 3's in the upper right-hand corner, 7's in the upper right-hand corner. That's the matching corners. These are corresponding. We say corresponding, not matching. Okay. If 8, let's see, if angle 8 is 75 degrees, let's see, 75 degrees, boom. Then 7 makes a straight line with it, so it must be 105 degrees because they make a straight line. They're supplementary angles. Let's see, 5 is a vertical angle with 8, so that's 75. 4 is the corresponding with 8, so that's also 75. 2 is alternating exterior, so that's 75. So all the other ones are 105, 105, 105, 105. So pretty easy. They just all of them are going to add up to 180 with their one next door to each other. Okay, find the volumes. Here I start with pi r squared because I start with a circle. That will give me this circle area up here. Okay, let's see. And so that is going to be pi times 5 squared. And then I have to multiply by the height to give it some height. So I gotta make this thing tall. So I gotta multiply by the height. So I'm gonna multiply by 12 times 12. But we have to crush this thing inwards. We have to crush this thing inwards. Let's give that another color. And we have to get rid of all this stuff because we're crushing the outside. So we're only taking 1 out of 3 areas, so we're dividing by 3. I put that in my calculator. 3.141 times 5 times 5 times 12 equals, divided by 3, 314.1 units cubed. Okay. This one. I start with a circle. I start with that area, so I need pi r squared. Oops, let's make it pink. I start with pi r squared, and the radius is not 6. The radius is 3. So far we have pi times the 3 squared. Now we have to take that and stretch it down, and now we have our cylinder. So we just give it some height. So we're going to give it some height, and the height is 5. And that's it. That's what the volume equals. So volume equals 3.14. You can throw in a 1. That's the next digit if you wanted to know. Times 3 squared times 5. Do it on my calculator. 3.141 times 3 times 3, because it's squared, times 5 equals 141.3 units to the cubed units. All right, 48. we start with a circle, pi r squared, but we make it 3D. So pi r to the third power. And then we have to put a stupid fraction in there, 4/3. So this is just 4/3 times pi times 3 to the third power. So in my calculator, I can do 4/3, 4 divided by 3 equals 1.333 times pi, or times 3.14, times 3 times 3 times 3 equals 113.0 units cubed. All right, this one, tough problem. Let's find the volume of the cone first. So we'll start with this circle, which is volume equals pi r squared. Then we got to give it some height and make it a cylinder, but then we got to divide by 3. All right, so let's see. Volume equals 3.14 times the radius is 2 squared times 6, and then divide by 3. So I'll do it on my calculator, and that equals 3.14 times 2 times 2 times 6 equals, divided by 3 equals 25.1. Okay, but that just gives us, so far we've just done the ice cream cone. Now we got to do the actual ice cream on top. We'll do that in a different color. We got to do that in blue. So we got to do this. Now the whole half, that's just a hemisphere. That's a half of a sphere. So let's see. Normally a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed, but now that we're only taking half of a sphere, we're going to do 2/3. Don't worry if this doesn't make sense to you. I will not test this on you tomorrow. This will be a few months of practice. All right, volume equals 2/3 pi times the radius of that sphere is 2 to the third power. This is volume equals 2/3 pi times 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So that's the volume of this is 2 divided by 3 equals 2/3 times 3.14 times 8. The volume equals 16.7. All right, so we got to add those together because we have to take the cone and the scoop on top. And so 16.7 plus 25.1 is 41.8 units cubed. So it was 2 shapes and you had to add them together. That was the whole point of that one. Okay, honors. I'll make another video for the regular stuff, but there's the extra work. Good luck tomorrow.